Good afternoon. I'm UMTV meteorologist Colin Rick with a special update on Hurricane Milton right now in the Gulf of Mexico, posing an extreme threat to everyone here in Florida, especially those along the west coast. And as we've seen over the last 48 hours, that rapid intensification of this storm, which just a couple of days ago was nothing to be too concerned about. But now we've got a Category 5 storm here in the Gulf of Mexico. And look at that eye wall, very impressive storm structure. This storm has almost broken records with pressure falling below 900 millibars and winds in excess of 180 miles an hour reported just the past couple of days as the storm has made its way through the Gulf and intensified substantially with that warm Gulf water and moisture in effect too. So here's that storm about 500 miles off the coast of the west coast of Florida. It's going to make a northeasterly jog, and the latest cone from the National Hurricane Center shows that Category 4 storm intensity. It will weaken as it moves northward and encounters some wind shear down to about a level 3, possibly level 2 by landfall, but still a very substantial, possibly catastrophic event. Current pressure is about 929 millibars, increasing as that storm weakens slightly and then closer to the west coast of Florida. Again, we'll see that landfall into the overnight hours on Thursday. I'm really thinking 2 to 3 a.m. is where we'll see that storm make its way in here. If we look at our tropical storm force winds here, you'll notice that there's a very broad area of tropical storm force winds that just clips the Miami area here. So that's something we're going to pay attention to locally as we head into the overnight hours on Wednesday and into Thursday morning for those potentially damaging tropical wind gusts. But definitely the Tampa area, Tampa to Sarasota, and up even to Orlando, anywhere where we see that red shaded region is where we're going to be the most concerned for the most damaging winds, hurricane force winds. If we look at futurecasts here, future rainfall across the state, it's a very wet scenario. Definitely up near Tampa and Fort Myers, right where we're going to see that eye wall make landfall and move in is where we'll see the heaviest rain rates. A flash flooding risk on top of the storm surge risk is going to pose a major flooding concern, and possibly with that catastrophic storm surge, a very deadly scenario setting up here along the west coast of Florida. That'll move out across the state and into the Atlantic as we go through the day on Thursday. Here in Miami, though, those outer bands are going to be bringing us those very heavy rains, and of course, tropical storm wind chances are also nothing to leave off the table. A 30% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds here in Miami. Further north in these purple and pink shaded regions is where we have the most confidence that we could see hurricane force winds, possibly in excess of 100 miles an hour in the direct line of where that eye is going to make movement across the state. In addition to that, we also have a substantial amount of rainfall that's going to occur across the state. Miami here getting in on some of the action, but again, all of the state of Florida at this point really has the potential to see a flooding risk as we go into the next couple of days with Hurricane Milton making landfall. Storm surge is also something that's going to play a major role into how destructive this event will unfold. Further south into the Naples area, we're going to see about 4 to 7 feet of storm surge. Moving northwards, though, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, and even the Tampa Bay areas where we are most concerned for that life-threatening catastrophic storm surge, anywhere between 8 to 12 feet possible. So anyone along the coastal area should be moving inland and evacuating at the instruction of the local authorities, but definitely anywhere along that west coast, move in, move away, because the storm surge is going to be a major concern with this storm as it makes its way in, on top of the flooding and the wind threat as well. Locally here, our biggest concern on Thursday and Thursday night, early morning hours, and then throughout the day on Thursday is going to be that severe weather risk, a level 2 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center, and that is a risk that's mainly focused on a tornado-driven threat that's going to materialize as the storm moves northwards across the state. There's going to be a lot of spin in the atmosphere, and that's where we could see a couple brief spin-up tornadoes on Thursday. Wouldn't be surprised to see a tornado watch across much of our area on Thursday. The flash flooding concern is there. There's also a flood watch for basically all of the Florida peninsula here as we go into the next couple of days here. Tropical storm warning is in effect for the Miami area, and as we go throughout the days, we'll see that warning extended, possibly hurricane warning as well for the west coast. That doesn't include us yet, but all these warnings are set to expire about Thursday evening, which is when we'll start to be in the clear. And then along with that, that storm surge threat, again, possibly catastrophic storm surge from Fort Myers, the Tampa area. So anyone, like I said, along the west coast needs to be moving inland. If you know anyone out there, reach out to them, make sure they're following their hurricane precautions. So to recap, flooding threat here in Miami, the tornado threat as well, a medium threat that may increase as the storm makes its way closer, and here and locally we can expect possibly some tropical storm force winds up to, if not in excess of 60 miles an hour. I'm Colin Rick, and this has been a UMTV special weather update. Stay in touch with the weather and stay safe.